Welcome to another episode of a Buchner verse production. Like how I do that, Evan? The Buchner verse? Well, it's season 3, episode 39 of the Hall of Fame show, where I, your host, Kirk Buchner and Evan Nolan, we're the operators of MountainHallOfFame.com, the sister sites, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and our bastard child together out of wedlock, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, www.NottonHallOfFame.com/USA. And vote now, vote often. Well, every day. You can't vote multiple times in a day, but you can vote. And it's something pretty special because you're all going to decide that first ever class. Mm-hmm. Yep. And yeah, it's a slow week, but we're building into a hell of a lot of stuff. I always open up with my smorgasbord of shit, and actually I got a whole bunch of positive things, if you don't mind.
What?
Yeah, look at that. Because well, so sometimes poo just smells like roses. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of got that one off, but whatever. I had a great Winnipeg weekend.
Okay, let us hear Bachelor number 1. What is your great Winnipeg weekend?
Well, Bachelor number 1 had a great Winnipeg weekend thanks to wife number 2. Because of my
Understood.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So it is a bit from a point of privilege here, living on top of Mount Manitoba. But I'm not going to sort of show down because it'll sort of like throw everything off. But there's a new statue at the base of Mount Manitoba.
Okay.
Dale Hawerchuk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they erected that this past Saturday, and just through drinking at the local watering hole, I met the guy who built it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was from your neck of the woods in Chicago, so it was pretty cool just talking to him. And then as people were sort of like coming up, it's like, hey, this guy just built the Dale Hawerchuk thing, and everyone's buying him drinks, including yours truly. And nice. It was a gorgeous statue. It was not like that Ronaldo piece of shit or that one for I think Abby Wambach.
Yeah, that was one of the worst ones ever.
No, I mean, yeah, this one, it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's something that I'm pretty proud of. That's like part of the city. But the night before, I got free SmackDown tickets thanks to wife number 2. So that was actually a lot of fun. And then I had free Tracy Morgan tickets on Saturday. Pretty good Winnipeg weekend, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a very good Winnipeg weekend.
Yeah,
you got to go see SmackDown. You got to go see Tracy Morgan. You got to see Winnipeg's latest steel erection.
Well done. So I just sort of thought I'd touch on that because, we do care when teams sort of honor past players.
100%.
And it was, yeah. I mean, although it's kind of weird because technically, the Jets' history is not even owned by them.
Which is very strange.
Yeah, it's
like, what do the Coyotes get out of owning their history?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's sort of like, again, a shared love child. I don't quite get it. There's something I don't understand.
Like the Pelicans gave back all the Hornets stuff to them when they changed names. Like, just why?
Well, it's not like they're saying, well, you can't do this. So, because I just put up my updated top 50 Winnipeg Jets. That doesn't include Dale Hawerchuk.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't. That's not part of their history. I mean, number 2, Ilya Kovalchuk. Does that make sense? No.
No. It is. Yeah, understood.
Yeah. So that's how it's going to be.
Atlanta, Georgia, the only U.S. city to lose not 1, but 2 sports franchises to Canada.
And both deservedly so. Atlanta just does not give a shit about hockey. Yet you travel further down on I-75. Tampa loves it.
Yeah. Tampa, Nashville, Carolina seems to do pretty well. So
I don't know. Well, Atlanta's never been a great sports city, period. Sorry, Atlanta, but you're not.
I understand that.
For that population, for not to.
Well, they care about Georgia and Georgia Tech, but professional not as much.
Not as much. It's sort of weird. I mean, I guess it's like Jacksonville too. Yeah, but anywho, neither here nor there. So a bit of baseball Hall of Fame news. They've announced the Ford Frick nominees, which are 10 finalists. Technically, it's not really a baseball because they don't get the plaque, and I know I have to bring that up because our friend Vinny's pretty big.
I understand, but
I think this is a pretty damn big deal. So we've got 10 finalists for the Ford C. Frick Award, given annually to the Baseball Hall of Fame for excellence in broadcasting. And a couple of them you know very well. I'm sort of very familiar with one. And a few of these, I'll admit, I'm not that familiar with at all.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Castiglione
Castiglione.
See, that's how unfamiliar I am with that.
Yeah, Joe Castiglione is one of the Red Sox play-by-play guy for years and years and years and years. 40 years, he was a lead radio voice. Joe Castiglione and Jared Trippiano were the voices of the Red Sox. Trippiano was the color guy, and Castiglione is the play-by-play. Absolutely beloved in Boston. Yeah, he was the call that it says on his thing called 2004, 2007, 2013, 2018 World Series. Definitely somebody who's going to be close, if not the person they choose.
Gary Cohen for the Mets.
Now I don't know if all the Mets, so I'm not sure exactly. There are a couple I'm going to be very biased towards, and
sure.
But I mean he's been there for 34 years, so pretty good candidate as well.
This guy might be representing the Jays, but I've never heard of him. Jacques Doucet. It must be for a French language broadcast. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, he spent 33 years with the Expos.
Oh, the Expos. Why they have
and then Expos? Well, because 60. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, it's got him listed with the Blue Jays.
Oh, well, so he's Expos from 69 to 2004, and then became the French-speaking voice of the Jays in 2012.
Okay. All right, so I'm half right.
He's a member of the Quebec Baseball Hall of Fame and won the Baseball Hall of Fame, Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame's Jack Graney Award, and elected to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame in 2020.
Yeah, and I think I remember some of his famous calls. Oh, it's a hit. Okay, they're not all gems.
Yeah.
Very few of them ever are.
I mean, yeah. Who knows though if that 94 Expos team was so fantastic and we just never got to find out because of the strike. Yeah, I mean that strike more than anything. The strike moved the Expos to Washington D.C.
It did. Yes, it did. And I can't believe there's even talk about trying to put a team back there while they still have that shit stadium.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's for another day.
Can Vancouver support a baseball team, you think?
The city could, but not with they don't have the facility for it.
No facility for it.
Yeah, I mean they've got.
I'm just wondering because I mean if you're going to put a second team in Canada, where do you put it?
I put it in Vancouver. You can.
Right, they just don't have a facility. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I wouldn't even call the Big O a facility because it's not exactly in a part of town that's sort of easy to get to. Vancouver, they'd have to build something, but I think Vancouver has far more money behind it that they would probably look at doing so. I don't know where you'd put that downtown though.
And I've never been.
Yeah, it's really hard because they've got the dome there now, right next to the arena, but I don't think there's a lot of room there. And the Vancouver Metro is somewhat decent, but I don't know. They might be a ways away from that. But yeah, population-wise, yes. Passion-wise, hard to say. Hard to say. Because of there's a lot of because it's a very international city. So I don't know how well that's sort of going to play with the large amount of South Asians and Chinese there, because that's not really what they grew up with.
Understood.
So, but their kids would.
Understood. Yeah. By the way, you missed somebody on this list already.
Oh, who'd I miss?
Dave Campbell.
Oh, I'm just going by what I've got on this article.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, continue.
No, it's good. Dave Campbell, let's just go that, because it's sort of, I'm just going from a Forbes article here. So you've got probably something a little bit more in depth than I do.
I have it from the Baseball Hall of Fame. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. That would have made more sense than what I just did. So yes, Dave Campbell, Tom Hamilton of the Guardians. Then the person I grew
hold on a second. Campbell was 20 years with ESPN. We all remember him. Well, younger people probably won't. But he also spent 11 seasons with calling games to the Padres and Rockies.
Mhm.
He used to call games with Jerry Coleman, who actually has won the Frick Award already. And Tom Hamilton's done 32 seasons with the Indians and one with the Guardians. By the way, I am rooting for Cleveland so hard. How funny would it be if Cleveland won the World Series this year after changing their name finally? And that's what it was. Because they have the longest drought in baseball now.
Since 48, I believe, was their last win.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hamilton's a 7-time Ohio Sportscaster of the Year award winner. So there you go. All right, so keep going. Jerry Howarth.
Yeah, that's from my past. From a lot of Blue Jays broadcasts on the radio. Tom Cheek, his partner, is already in. So that's certainly a name that is near and dear to my heart because he was a very big part of Blue Jays fans for really ever. Pat Hughes, Cubs. Tell me about him.
Yeah. Pat Hughes is almost as beloved in Chicago as Harry Carey was at this point. He just doesn't have the national thing that he does. He's been calling games for 40 seasons. He's been the voice of the Cubs for the last 27. He's been the Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year 3 times and the Illinois Sportscaster of the Year 9 times.
Just beat you out.
What?
He just beat you out for that Illinois one.
Just beat me out. Yeah, just barely. I will bring this up. Once again, my brother does have a Midwestern Emmy for calling sports for Notre Dame. Yeah, just an absolute legend around here. I honestly think that he is maybe the favorite for this.
Okay. Then we also have 3 more. I guess I don't know if it's the only one that's posthumous or would be Ernie Johnson Sr.
50 years as a player, PR announcer, director of broadcasting, announcer. Called games for the Braves from 62 to 91 and then 95 to 99. Spent 9 years in the majors and won a ring with the Braves in 57. So
Dwayne Kuiper, Giants.
Yep, 37 seasons there too. 37 overall, 36 with the Giants. Yeah, just like he's won 10 Emmys, but other than that, what has he done?
And former Cy Young winner Steve Stone.
Yeah, Steve Stone, 20 with the Cubs, last 15 with White Sox. Another great guy. When Vince Scully died, Steve Stone was on just telling stories about meeting Vince Scully and everything and how crazy it was. But another beloved broadcaster, although even he would say that he takes second place right now in Chicago to Pat Hughes. But Stoney's awesome. So
yeah, so congratulations to the 10 who have made it this far. It is a very big honor. And it's really good that the Baseball Hall of Fame, I think, they do a really good job in honoring other elements of the sport. Because we rag on them all the time, and rightfully so. But when they do something right, I certainly want to commend them for that. We've got, do we want to go to the deaths right now? Because there's 2 giant ones.
There are. One of which I'm not going to know nearly as well as you do. But yeah, why don't we go to that right now?
Sure.
So I will say we lost Hungarian handballer Josef Horvath, who played in the 1972 Summer Olympics for Hungary, passed away at the age of 75 in Madrid. So
Beige Mistress strikes again. We got to cast her.
Beige Mistress strikes again. I know.
I'm thinking maybe Olivia Wilde. She's not exactly as popular as she used to be.
I do have to say that I'm more interested in seeing the behind the scenes of how they made that movie than that movie itself.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Okay, a couple of people just from the world in general who I want to bring up quickly. First of all, comedian Judy Tenuta, who was
He died?
At the age of 72. Wrote 2 comedy books, had 2 Grammy nominations for Best Comedy Album. She had the Love Goddess. I don't know if you remember that. She was on Weird Al TV. All sorts of things like that. But she passed away at the age of 72.
Married to Emo Phillips, if I remember correctly.
That
which was bizarre in itself. I always found that was the one comedian back that I just did not get the appeal of.
Mm-hmm. I don't see Emo Phillips' name on this, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It doesn't mean I'm right. I could be confusing it with someone else,
but yeah, she passed away at the age of 72. Passed away at the age of 75. Someone who's been in the news quite a bit this year. Sachin Littlefeather passed away.
Holy shit! I missed that one too.
Yeah, she's been very sick for a while. Earlier this year, just as a reminder for who she is, Marlon Brando had her decline an Oscar win for her. She got up on stage. John Wayne had to be held back from fighting her. Clint Eastwood got on immediately afterwards and made fun of her as everything, but she actually got an apology officially from the Academy this year. But she's been sick for several years with cancer and passed away at the age of 75.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
So,
what was what did they really apologize for, though? I mean, they did let her talk.
Yeah,
for how she was treated. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Having said that, it was a very iconic moment and something that would obviously play totally different in 2022 than it did in 1972.
72, correct.
Okay. Yeah, so a completely different time. The John Wayne story is disgusting. When you're gonna go out there and you're gonna beat up a 100-pound woman, you're a tough asshole. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, John Wayne, better reputation among the older generations than the youngers. Let's put it that way.
Fair.
But I mean, the fact she even lived to 75 is kind of amazing. She had tuberculosis at age 4 and had to be in an oxygen tent, which was hospitalized. The year after in 72, she was hospitalized in a mental institution for a year because she was suicidal.
Read about that. I didn't know about the tuberculosis though.
And when she's 29, her lungs collapsed. In 91, she recovered from a radical cancer surgery. In 99, she had colon cancer. In 2012, she had breast cancer. In 2018, she had stage 4 breast cancer, and it metastasized in 2021. The fact she lived as long as she did, it was almost kind of amazing.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, she went through a lot.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she passed at the age of 75. I have a Canadian Olympian who passed away, Robert Steckley, who won a silver in the 1954 Vancouver in the Vancouver British Empire and Commonwealth Games. I thought it was Olympics, but it was not. In the 58 Cardiff British Empire Commonwealth Games, won a bronze and won a silver in Sao Paulo in the 63 Pan American Games. Passed away at the age of 92.
Yeah, I imagine those Commonwealth Games are going to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Although Bougainville, the island off the coast of Papua New Guinea, is about to become the next independent country. So,
wow, I'd never even heard of it.
Yeah, so Papua New Guinea used to be part of Australia until 72, and then they became independent, and now one of the islands off the coast of Papua New Guinea is also becoming independent. So there you go. Because I know too much dumb trivia. Let's go to baseball. So second baseman Marv Staley passed away at the age of 80, played with the White Sox, Expos, and Braves from 64 to 71. In his 70-year career, he hit 207 with 97 hits, 1 homer, and 33 runs batted in. But he passed away at the age of 80 years old. Also passed away pitcher Tommy Boggs. Passed away at the age of 66, played for the Rangers and Braves between 76 and 85. Probably better known for being the baseball coach at Concordia University in Texas led them to 325 wins in 13 seasons. But he passed away from cancer at the age of 66. Also, the biggest name, I guess, from baseball who passed away this week was Hector Lopez, who played from 55 to 66 with the A's and Yankees, won World Series with the Yankees in 61 and 62, passed away at the age of 93. So, right. So from the world of football, Jim Sweeney, who played for the Jets, Seahawks, and Steelers from 84 to 99, member of the 84 all-rookie team, passed away at the age of 60. I don't know from what, but he had been coaching after his career at Duquesne, St. Peter's, or a couple of high schools, and actually at the University of Albany recently. He was a second-round pick in 1984, center, guard, and tackle. Also passing away from football, Jerry Vinisi at the age of 80. He was the Bears GM who took over for Jim Finks, who is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was the executive vice president of the Bears when they won Super Bowl 20, also worked for the Lions and the World League of American Football. And 2010, he was inducted into the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 80 in Oak Park, which is not far from where I work and where the headquarters of McDonald's are. So, also passing away, Rick Redmond, member of the College Football Hall of Fame, a linebacker and a punter for the University of Washington, the 10th round pick in the NFL draft and a 5th round pick in the AFL draft, both in 1965. He played for the San Diego Chargers from 65 to 73 and the Portland Storm in 1974. Two-time AFL All-Star, all AFL All-Star in 67, two-time consensus All-American in 63 and 64. Passed away at the age of 79. He was inducted into the University of Washington Hall of Fame in 82 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 95. So another College Football Hall of Famer who passed away, Marvin Powell, played with the Jets from 77 to 85 and a couple years with the Buccaneers in 86 and 87. Two-time first-team All-Pro, one-time second-team All-Pro, five-time Pro Bowler, offensive tackle, played at USC, inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame in 1994. Also was president of the NFLPA during his playing career. Passed away at the age of 67. His son, Marvin Powell III, played for the Saints, Packers, and Broncos. I don't know if you remember him. He also played at USC as well.
I do remember him.
So, from the world of basketball, Tiffany Jackson passed away at only the age of 37.
Yeah.
Played for the Liberty, Tulsa Shock, Sparks, and Maccabi Ashdod in Israel.
Okay.
First team All-American in 2005, three-time first team All Big 12, McDonald's All-American in 2003. Passed away.
What'd she die of? Did it say?
Breast cancer.
Oh, fuck. 37.
Yeah. She was announced as had just spent 4 years as an assistant coach with Texas, and in April this year is going to be announced as a new head coach for Wiley College, and then passed away, which is way too young.
God, yeah.
From the world of boxing, Adair Joffrey passed away. Two-time a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He is in 2019, he was voted the 16th greatest boxer of all time, making him the third greatest living boxer at the time, behind only Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. Called the 19th greatest fighter of the past 80 years by The Ring magazine. Just one of the great. He was a bantamweight and featherweight world champion. Yeah, I think he was featherweight twice, bantamweight once, but he passed away at the age of 86. probably the greatest boxer ever from Brazil. So I know we don't cover the lighter weights as much in this country as other weight places, but yeah,
we certainly have moved more towards that direction than we used to.
Terrible one announced today from World of Wrestling. Sarah Lee passed away at the age of 30. She won Tough Enough in 2015.
Sarah Lee, I don't remember that.
She was WWE for 1 year. But I actually watched Tough Enough around that time.
Okay.
But she passed away earlier today. She was married to Wesley Blake, the former WWE wrestler.
Okay. Yeah, I probably would know her if I saw her.
Yeah. They had 3 kids, but she was only 30, and they haven't announced what she passed away from. So
30. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Awful. I'm just looking that up while you're going through that, because now it's going to bother me.
Yeah. As we're going through this, I mean, that's one of the few people I know that you know. So there you go. My wife watched Tough Enough for a while, though, so that's the only reason.
That to me is almost the most fascinating thing about that's a show that the two of you were watching.
Yeah, only for a little while, not recently. But while we're in wrestling, we should probably go to Muhammad Hussein Inoki, or Antonio Inoki.
Antonio Inoki
passed away at the age of 79.
Yeah, I found that out actually when I was at SmackDown, because they put up a graphic, and apparently that just happened while they were actually airing it, from what I was told by the guy I went with. So Antonio Inoki isn't a huge name in the United States or in Canada for that matter, but from one of the greatest. I'm trying to think of like the best American comparison, and there really isn't one. I mean, you could say, like, in some ways he was bigger internationally than Hogan, but not as big as Hogan was in the United States, if that makes sense, as he was.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
So he learned from a legend, you probably don't know, a guy named Ricky Dozan, who was the first massive star in Japanese pro wrestling, and one of the people who sort of like helped Japan sort of gain their self-worth again. After they were like after World War II. So like a lot of the American wrestlers would come over, and then Ricky Dozan would beat them. Amazing thing with Ricky Dozan, it was actually Korean.
Okay.
Which he had to keep to himself. But anyway, go figure that one out. But yeah, Inoki was one of his pupils, and in '72 he broke out and formed his own promotion, which still exists today, New Japan. So he was champion there a lot, but his vision was to make wrestling look as tough or as real as possible. So a lot of Japanese wrestling is because, or modern anyway, is because of Inoki. His fight with Muhammad Ali is legendary, and I'm still not even sure whether that was my understanding is that it was meant to be rigged, and then they just couldn't figure out how to do this. So this weird convoluted set of rules sort of exists, where if you ever watch the fight between Inoki and Ali, it is the most boring thing you'll ever watch ever. 15 rounds of just Inoki lying on his back, kicking Ali in the legs. That's all it was. But it was a precursor to modern mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And Inoki had a whole lot to do with that. As an individual, because he later became a politician, he did sort of have a corruption scandal with the Yakuza. All right, not good. But here's the good. He negotiated the release of 100 and I might be off on the number. I think 114 Japanese people in Saddam Hussein, Iraq.
Yeah, hostages that they're holding.
Hostages, yeah. That's pretty goddamn impressive.
Yeah, right before the Gulf War broke out.
Right. So basically, Inoki 1, Rodman 0.
Although here's Inoki 2 and 3, Rodman 0. I'm just looking at this. He wrestled Ric Flair in 1995 for 2 shows in North Korea, which drew 165,000 and 190,000 spectators, which are the 2 largest attendances in professional wrestling history.
Yes, but they were forced to go.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they were. And it was, but it was all part of who Inoki was, trying to bring peace to the world through pro wrestling. And just like a fascinating individual, a great man, and WWE Hall of Famer. I think I want to say class of 2014. I could be off on that, but
2010 it says here.
2010. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I was way off. So yeah, I mean, Inoki, and also he had a fine performance in the Bad News Bears Go to Japan.
Okay.
Yes, where he lost to Marvin Lazar, played by Tony Curtis, who's never been in my kitchen. That'll only mean something to Jeopardy fans of Cheers. But anyway, yeah, so RIP Antonio Inoki. I think if there is a Mount Rushmore of pro wrestlers worldwide, he could be on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So everything I have left is all in music.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with Ivy Joe Hunter, the R&B songwriter, record producer, and singer, most known for his work with Motown in the 60s. Wrote songs for the Spinners, the Temptations, the Isley Brothers, the Four Tops, and wrote Dancing in the Street. One of the co-writers with Marvin Gaye. And Mickey Stevenson, who wrote Dancing in the Street.
If they play that at his funeral, please not the Bowie Jagger version.
I hope not. No. Yes. But also stuff for the Contours, Marvelettes, Glass Knight and the Pips, a whole bunch of people like that. He passed away at the age of 82.
Must have been a great life.
Yeah, pretty good one. Also passed away, sort of related to music. Lenny Lipton passed away, probably best known for writing Puff the Magic Dragon. Passed away at the age of 82.
They didn't write it?
They did not. It was a poem originally.
Oh, okay.
So he went into a whole bunch of other stuff, but he also passed away at the age of 82.
Oh, I didn't even know that song was a poem first.
Yeah, it was a poem first.
Okay.
Keith Wonderboy Johnson also passed away only at the age of 50. American gospel singer and songwriter. Had 11 albums that charted on the gospel chart during his career. Was active from 98 to 2022. Was found unresponsive at his home in Atlanta at the age of 50. So too young again. We're getting too close to these things.
Yes, we are. Well, I am. I'm already there.
I'm getting there too every day. Another one of those sidemen, but a sideman who's a member of a whole bunch of bands for a long period of time. David Malachowski passed away at the age of 67. I know him best with his work with Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen, which is one of my favorite bands that nobody's ever heard of.
Second time this group has come up on this show.
I love Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen so very much. And their version of Hot Rod Lincoln. My dad said, "Son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that." Hot Rod Lincoln is there, but he also was with Savoy Brown. He was with Shania Twain for a while, a whole bunch of other places. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 67. So if the Commander Cody's Lost Planet Airman come up at any point, I'm going to bring it up. American folk singer Mary McCaslin also passed away. Worked with her husband, mostly Jim Ringer, and performed with him a whole bunch of folk songs from 69 to 2006. Unfortunately, in 94, she suffered from progressive supranuclear palsy, which is a neurological condition which stops your balance, vision, speech, and swallowing, which seems like an absolutely terrible way to live, not being able to swallow. But she passed away at the age of 75. Also, country singer Jody Miller passed away at the age of 80. Let me see her discography. Well, I got to pull this up. She had how many top 10 hits? It's from 1964. She charted for the first time in 1965 and charted for the last time in 1979. But she had, God, how many hits is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is somewhere along the lines of 12 to 15 top 10 hits and a whole bunch more top everything hits on country stations. She passed away at the age of 80. 27 singles charted on the Billboard Hot Country charts between 64 and 79. And finally, talking about charting on the Billboard charts, the country charts, Loretta Lynn passed away.
90.
Probably best known for Coal Miner's Daughter, which the movie Coal Miner's Daughter is based on her life. I personally love "Don't Come Home and Drinking" with "Lovin' on Your Mind." I think that song is fantastic.
It is good. It is good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
No, I was just gonna say because when we were driving from Toronto to Winnipeg, right? So I just got this list of just albums that I'm just going through off an acclaimed music list, and they're all over the place. And one, because it wasn't that specific album that from Loretta Lynn, so I just put on like her whole greatest hits thing, and then I was really digging it. My wife not so much, but what a tough woman.
That is 100% true.
Just an era where there wasn't a whole lot of kick-ass women in a genre that didn't really want it.
Correct.
And she did that well. Her duets with Conway Twitty were really, really good. I think it was 11 number one combined with solo and combined with Conway. I think something disgusting like that. Just huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at her number one songs that went to number one in the country charts for her. Sorry, these are albums. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She had 6 number one albums during her career.
And I think also too, for her to do that and to be that successful again in a place that really wasn't welcoming that. She was a feminist without being in your face about it, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just great storytelling. I mean, if you were sort of like that guy coming home drinking, it's like, yeah, I've been that guy.
Yeah. I love that song. Also, one of her first ones, "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man." That's the other side of it. Like, you're not woman enough to take my man, but if he comes home drinking, nothing's gonna happen, right? Mm-hmm. Like, she's strong on both ends of it. So
absolutely,
she's someone who has been discussed quite a bit for the Rock Hall and things, and as an early influence with the way they have that design now. I've been fully in favor of her doing that. She is. They have a statue of her actually outside the Ryman's Auditorium now that went up in 2020.
Where's that auditorium?
Ryman Auditorium is in Nashville.
Okay.
She won the Presidential Medal of Freeman by Barack Obama, and was a 60-year member of the Grand Ole Opry earlier this year. So, just absolutely incredible. And actually, here's a trivia question for you.
Sure.
So she was, make sure I have this right. So she was the second of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 8 children.
Mm-hmm.
Who is her youngest sibling?
Was that Crystal Gale? Because that's the only
Crystal
one.
Crystal Gale. Yeah. I had no idea Crystal Gale was related to her.
Oh no. Yeah. That was I gotta tackle that song one day. I don't even know if that went number one. Brown Eyes Blue, like such a weird song of top country when there's really nothing country about it. Mm-mm. The way that is, but yeah, one day. But yeah, our rest in peace. I'm gonna at some point maybe next month, watch Coal Miner's Daughter. I've never seen it. I guess
Yeah,
you have because that project you did once.
That's not one of the ones we got to, though. I actually haven't seen it either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Crystal Gale.
Yeah, go ahead.
Crystal Gale's Brown Eyes Blue went to number 2 in 77.
Well, then I guess I'm never talking about it.
And number 1 on the country chart. She had a lot of number 1 hits in the country chart.
So. That's the only song of hers I actually know.
I'll Get Over You. That one I know pretty well. But yeah, again, I was stuck in northern New Hampshire with one radio station. So anything that played on WHOM from 1984 through 1993, which was the only radio station I know. I always used to jokingly call it WHOMEY. It was all light hits. So it was very Crystal Gale and Peebo Bryson heavy. So
well, let's move on. From elevator music to elevator up, elevator down. See what I did there?
There you go.
Yes, that's my segue to who has made an interesting run this week for the Hall of Fame, their respective Hall of Fame, and who hasn't. And I got 2 elevator downs. One I'll do super quick because what's the point? He does it again. And someone do a wellness check on Antonio Brown, please.
Oh, no kidding. Well, I think he did a wellness check. I can see everything seems to be on the up and up.
Yeah, asking someone in the pool how he looks. Yes, that's his version of a wellness check. I don't know what's going to happen first, him going bankrupt or him going in like a mental institution. And I'm not even making a joke. There's only 2 paths here I see, or third. I mean, like he just does something that's going to get himself killed. Like I know you can't check for CTE when you're alive, but
I mean, when the announcement came that Brady and Giselle were having problems, he tweeted a picture of himself being hugged by Giselle.
Was that photoshopped?
No, it was after one of the
Super Bowl. Okay, all right, I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you've acted your way out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I've never seen anyone. I've seen people scandal their way out of stuff, but never act their way out.
Yeah, I mean, he and Le'Veon Bell 4 years ago had legitimate claims for on the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and neither of them are going to sniff it. Although, I mean, Brown's got a much better shot than Le'Veon Bell, but
he does. But I mean, right now, I'd rather be Le'Veon Bell. That's for damn sure. I mean, I don't know.
100%.
Yeah. Brown's he's a lost cause at this point, and I'm not going to go any further on this because he'll come up again. But I've got an interesting elevator down for you, and I know we try to stay out of politics, but sometimes politics just have to work their way in. And it's in I told you it's going to be a musician, and he's not eligible yet, but he will be soon, and he's got a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame career. I don't think there should be any doubt of that, unless you think that rap shouldn't be. You and I disagree, or with that opinion. We both think that.
We do not disagree on that. We are both of the agreement.
No, we disagree with that sentiment.
With that
sentiment.
Yeah. I want to make sure you're not confusing people at home.
No. Okay. No, I'm glad you sort of clarified that. I probably wasn't as clear as I should be, but bottom line is people vote on people. I've always sort of said that. And someone who's turning off a lot of people these days with his further descent into right-wing politics is Kanye West. And I'm not going to say what my opinion is on a lot of what he does. I'll just leave it that I'm mostly a centrist, and I generally hate everybody political these days. And I'm a lot happier for it.
You are very consistent. You hate hypocrites and anything political, which is usually just hypocrites.
Yeah, more or less. But Kanye showing up with Candace Owens in a White Lives Matter shirt is not something that's going to appeal to a lot of, especially voters for Rock Hall, who were mostly liberal thinkers. I'm not endorsing, I'm not bashing it. I do have an opinion on it. Okay, I'll say this. It did make me pretty fucking uncomfortable. I'll leave it at that. And that's just me as a middle-aged white guy saying that. So I can just imagine how other demographics feel. But I can see a lot of voters just saying, screw this guy when it comes up. And, it's hard to believe that this was the same guy who said President Bush hates black people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that. I personally would vote for him. I think his body of work speaks for itself, but I don't have that choice. But if other people were to say, you know what, screw him, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I
understand.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't think about that, but you're right. He's going to be up probably 3 or 4 years at this point.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
And it's
not this year. I think next year, if I remember correctly, next year's big name is Lincoln Park. So
yeah.
if I remember correctly from my list.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be for a couple years, but
no, because that's the type of thinkers. And again, this is not however you want to divide it. That's fine. But we know what this voting base is.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have the same fan base he used to. He doesn't have the same respect he used to. And he's another guy that sometimes you wonder what's going on in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know how that's gonna end for him. I do think that somebody who probably should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer isn't gonna be.
100% will be.
Yeah. And yeah, so like that's something that I thought of, like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just by the way, did you see the tweet from Future Rock Legends earlier today about this is how I found out about, but Mark Maron had Jan Wenner on his podcast?
No, I didn't. What, anything?
And Jan Wenner, the thing that Future Rock Legends picked up, I didn't have a chance to listen to the podcast, but the thing that they picked up was that Jan Wenner said that Foreigner, REO Speedwagon, Boston, and Styx have never been brought up for consideration at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominating committee meetings, which is interesting because Ahmet Ertegun said that he once brought up Foreigner, was laughed out of the room. So maybe one of them's lying, and I guess it's probably Jan Wenner. But just the idea that Styx has never been brought up for consideration does make me feel better. So
I can't say that those four surprised me at all based on who's in that room.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, Boston is the 5th best band from Boston. So
Aerosmith,
the Cars.
Oh crap.
One's been nominated 4 times, I think. And
Jay Giles.
Jay Giles. I'll give them 4th.
Okay, so who am I missing? Are you putting Flogging Molly there?
I love Flogging Molly, but no.
Okay, so who am I forgetting?
The Pixies.
Oh, I see. I actually thought they were from Chicago. Look what
I mean, yeah. Black Francis is a Bostonian through and through. So there you go. Frank Black, I know, but as we like to call him, Black Francis.
That's the second time I just did the shrug emoji. I got to stop that. All right, so our hammer, and I didn't even ask you what it is, so I just told you what I'd be sort of touching on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So hit me. The good, the bad, and the ugly of sports.
So let's start with the good. I just want to reflect, since the baseball season ended yesterday, this was kind of a great baseball season. A lot of really cool stuff happened this year, not the least of which is the Seattle Mariners made the playoffs for the first time since several of the people in my office were born. I'm the boss of people who are 19 and 20 who have never been alive with the Seattle Mariners make the playoffs.
2002 was it?
2001 was the last time they were in the playoffs. Griffey still played for them the last time they're in the playoffs. So good for them. The Phillies haven't made it since 2011, I don't think. And they're back in the playoffs. But a couple of kind of amazing things. And of course, Judge at one point with it 2 weeks ago didn't have a triple crown. He had a 10-point crown. He was leading in home runs, RBIs, OPS, on base percent, like it was everything. And then he got beaten out in batting average by the first baseman for the Twins, whose name is just out of my head right now.
Araras.
Yeah, got beaten out in the very last day for that. But just one of the great offensive category seasons ever. Mm-hmm. I do want to point out something about Shohei Ohtani, though. Mm-hmm. Shohei Ohtani finished in top 5 in home runs hit and strikeouts pitched. this season. He hit 34 homers and had 219 strikeouts. He is the fourth different player to accomplish this feat. What was the last player? Or give me the year. I'm not going to expect you to know the person. The last year where a player was in the top 5 in both home runs hit and strikeouts pitched.
1918.
1890.
Holy crap. I would have thought Babe Ruth would have been that person, but okay.
Jack Stivitz in 1890, don't even ask what team he played for, hit 7 home runs and had 289 strikeouts in 1890. The others, Jim Whitney in 1882 with 5 homers and 180 strikeouts. And John Ward did it in back-to-back seasons in 1878 and 1879. In 1878 and 79 combined, he had 3 home runs. 1 in 78, 2 in 79. 239 strikeouts in 79 and 116 in 78. That's the list. Has not been done in 132 years.
And Ohtani won't win the MVP. And he probably should.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. He also led his team in home runs, RBIs, batting average, wins, ERA, and strikeouts.
What a waste.
Absolutely incredible. And that team can't do anything right. Yeah. And one other person I want to bring up, just as a special mention, Julio Rodriguez. Julio Rodriguez is the 4th rookie ever, age 21 or younger, who has 6 plus WAR and 145 OPS plus in this season in MLB history. So the 4th rookie, 21 or younger, with at least 6 WAR and 145 OPS. You want to try and guess the other 3?
Nope.
1939, Ted Williams. 2001, Albert Pujols. 2012, Mike Trout.
Rare.
Not a bad list.
Not a bad list indeed.
And he did it in only 136 games. Trout needed 139, Williams 149, Pujols 161. Yeah. So just absolutely incredible.
It's been a fun year. So I'm pretty excited to we got to work.
Yeah. And the Red Sox finished last, and I don't care. I still am rooting. I'm officially a Guardians fan until they.
Yeah, Cleveland.
I'm just wanting to win
a hard time
to break the streak.
But,
yeah, I mean, Cleveland or Seattle, basically anybody, but the Braves don't need to win back-to-back World Series. I'm not the biggest fan of that. No. And we don't need the Yankees winning. But other than that, anyone else, and the Astros don't need to win either.
Toronto.
Yeah. I have no problem with Toronto winning. I have no problem with the Rays winning, Toronto, like basically anyone in the AL except the top 2 seeds.
I don't want Tampa to win only because, I mean, I never hit something I never thought I'd ever see as a kid. Yeah, so I want the Tampa Bay Lightning to win in hockey. I'm okay with that because the fans are great. No, I don't want the Tampa Bay Rays to win in baseball because the fans are shit.
Well, fair enough.
There is a thought a Canadian my age never would have thought. Those teams didn't exist then, but that's not how you would think that this would all play out at all. Go figure. But okay, so that's an excellent good. What's your bad?
The bad is these protesters running on the field and then suing for being stopped by players. So Bobby Wagner annihilated a protester. What was it? Was it Monday Night Football? I think it's Monday, right? Yeah. It was out there with like a pink gender reveal smoke bomb is all I can think of. I mean, that's
is that what it was?
I know it's some sort of weird smoke, and he's running around the field. And he's not being caught, and Bobby Wagner decks him, and now he's filing a police report and wants Bobby Wagner arrested.
Yeah, good luck with
and
that.
It's going to sue. You're trespassing in a place you're not supposed to be trespassing with some sort of device that is smoking and spraying who knows what. Now it's just smoke in this case, but could it have been something else? Yeah, he doesn't know that. And he stops you by tackling you. He's not punching you. He's not shooting you. He's not stabbing you. He's knocking you to the ground.
You're lucky. That's all he did.
You're lucky. Take the lumps and move on.
I would think. Could Bobby Wagner countersue?
Probably for reckless endangerment,
Yeah.
intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Why not? Like, it seems more logical, frankly, to me, for him to sue than the other guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get protests. If you're going to run on, I don't like the running on the field, but if you're going to run on the field of protest, just take your lumps and move on.
Well,
We had that woman who tried to super glue herself to the floor. Remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, because they went to multiple ones like over the Timberwolves.
Yeah, there are like three of them. There are like three of them over the course of a few weeks. There's a one woman who tried to chain herself to the basket.
Yeah.
There's a woman who tried to run onto the field, and the security guard was on her like a hawk and got her before she even hit the floor. Got her like on the sidelines.
Yeah. I think my two favorite, actually, I think it's someone from that same group, actually. That's the one who tried that with Joey Chestnut, which is still.
Oh, yeah, that one too. I forgot about that one because that's not a sport. That's just something that should be banned as well.
Possibly. But it's
yeah, it happened. I get it. So
yeah, but my least favorite one was, or the perplexing one, when they're protesting lack of abortion rights at a WNBA game.
Yeah, we've been through that too.
I know we've been, but like,
yeah. Also bad this week, Thursday Night Football. We had a 12-9 overtime game tonight between the Colts and the Broncos, in which the first quarter featured 6 consecutive punts. And then
I'm not watching that tomorrow then.
Yeah, it can't get worse, you think. But next week are the Bears and Commanders, who are the two worst offensive in football. As a matter of fact, hold on, I got to find this thing that I tweeted out. First of all, Tom Brady, since he turned 40, has 5,000 more passing yards and something more than the number one quarterback in Bears history for their entire career. There, Jay Cutler's the top passer in Bears history.
That's always been something I found the most interesting thing about the Chicago Bears when you try to think of this massive history of this team, and you really come up short in quarterbacks.
Yeah, they have never, think of the day and age, they have never had a 3,000-yard passer in a season.
But they've never had anyone who hit 3,000
in a season. Never.
Okay, I didn't know it was that bad. Holy shit.
Yeah. They are to quarterbacks what the Patriots are to running backs. The top rusher in Patriots history is Sam Cunningham. How many yards do you think he has approximately in his career with the Patriots?
Probably. I'm going to guess it's probably under 5,000 based on.
It's like, I think it's 5,200.
5,200. Okay.
Which is, again, ridiculous. Like the Seahawks have like 9 guys who have had more than that, and the Seahawks haven't even been around that long. But here's the other stat I tweeted my friend about the Bears.
Yeah.
Through 4 games this season, Justin Fields has 34 completions. Cooper Kupp has 42 receptions. Cooper Kupp has 8 more receptions than the starting quarterback of the Bears has completions, who's played all 4 games.
It's got to be a thing. Like, if you just like get signed by the Bears as a quarterback, do you just want to go
I wanted Justin Fields on the Patriots. Like when it came down to it.
Remember that. Yeah.
I was like, I had no problem with Mac Jones. I wanted Justin Fields.
I remember.
As soon as he went to Chicago, I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm sorry.
Well, sometimes it's best not to get what you wanted. I was sort of hoping maybe Deshaun Watson might fall to New Orleans. Of course, as opposed to whatever.
Yeah.
That's
so anyway,
no more Deshaun talk. So you're ugly. All right, I can't wait for this.
So we talk about a lot of sports here.
Oh, I do know what it is. Okay.
You do know what it
is. Yes.
And I want to point out, it's not a sport, but I do want to give a special shout out to chess, who had the International Chess Tournament today, where they did a full body scan of everybody because someone was accused of cheating using anal beads, that somebody was shooting basically Morse code into his anal beads. Elon Musk was.
There's nothing I ever want to win that badly.
Yeah, Elon Musk was on it for a while. But yeah, so they actually were wanting people in. So special shout out to that, but it's not really a sport, it's a game. But I would like to point out something else, which is probably maybe not a sport, but it's just absolutely ridiculous. Competitive fishing. So over the weekend, there was a where I'm trying to figure out where the pro fishing tournament was. I can't remember, but a fishing tournament in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wait a minute. Lake Erie?
Yeah, it was Lake Erie.
How do you win that? Is it like the fish with the most eyeballs?
You win that by not touching the water. So it was in Lake Erie, and this guy who had won over, he's the number one fisherman on this circuit. So just, for like the pro bass fishing, from what I understand, they have judges in every boat who check all the fish as they come in and everything like that. They don't have it in whatever tournament this is. So this guy had won over $330,000 fishing this year and a new boat.
Wow.
Already.
Okay.
So he gets called up as a winner, and people are already freaking out about it because it looked like his fish were smaller than other people's. And they're like, how is his weigh so much more? And someone shouted out for them to check the fish. They cut one open. They were pulling out multiple lead weights, as well as fillet of other fish that had basically been stuffed into the mouth of these fish after they caught them.
So this guy's probably been cheating forever.
A long time. And the other fishermen were, let's just say, nonplussed at what was going on. The organizer who discovered it basically was like, guys, let them go, let them back up. You have anything to say for yourself, just let them go. And then they got arrested for, technically, it's fraud, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess, yeah.
They may be charged with fraud. They're going to be banned from the tour and everything, but just go find the video. The Barstool had a short clip of it. It's honestly worth watching the full 13-minute video that somebody has. Their Barstool is like a 2.5-minute version.
Yeah. Okay.
What's going on is nuts there. It's just like the first 8 minutes are like, hey, here's our winner. The guy gives a speech and talks about how proud he is and how things have really come together for them. And then at like minute 9 after this whole thing, they start opening up the fish and all hell breaks loose. So cheating scandals.
I shouldn't laugh.
In fishing. And literally they cut it open. They cut open a fish and there's like golf ball size, slightly bigger than golf ball size lead weight. And then another. And then another. And then another. And then they like pull out another piece of fish. They're like, this is a fillet. They flip it over. It's like, this is a walleye fillet. They were catching whatever they were. It wasn't walleye. And it was the guy's just standing there watching them open it, just with his hands on his hips while everyone wants to just absolutely kick the crap out of him. So
what was this? I guess I got to watch it after. So what was his facial expressions while that's happening?
Just disbelief, sort of like that he got caught more than anything. But it was real bad. It was it's awesome to watch. It's awesome because it didn't happen to me. It would never happen to me because A, I'll never enter a fishing tournament. And B, if I did, I mean, I'm not going to stuff lead weights in there, but like,
I think you'd just be happy to say that, come on our show and say, hey, I was in a fishing tournament. And we talk about
maybe I'll do it just so I can say I was in a, there we go, bucket list for the next few years. I'm going to enter a fishing tournament just so I can say I was in one.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If it's a competition, someone's going to find a way to cheat on it. So you got to figure this guy's been doing it for years, and he just
100%.
So
100%.
Well,
that's why I'm so glad that Tom Verducci pointed out that Aaron Judge is now the true record holder because he's clean, as opposed to all the Tom Verducci stuff he did with McGuire and talking about how he did everything that was legal and nothing illegal and everything else.
Sorry, Bonds is still the record holder, and you can vote for him on www.nothalloffame.com/USA because he may not get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he was one of our nominees. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
That is true, but I just love the fact that we definitely know Judge is clean because reasons. So, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's my good, bad, and ugly for the week.
Okay. Well, so closing off, just a little bit of promotions. How the hell did this go number one? We just recorded Total Eclipse of the Heart. That'll be the last one for a while because we can't get together for the next 3 weeks. Actually, that reminds me. Well, no, we'll make that work for Thursday. But yeah, so like that one, but it'll be a while before that's up anyway. Finally, another episode will be recorded tomorrow of This Crap Was on National Television. Chris Burnett and I were ready. We're going to record tomorrow morning the pilot episode of Manimal.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this one to come out here.
I've never watched it before. I'm speechless. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say tomorrow morning. This was so colossally awful in every single way you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Except, although the acting wasn't shit, which is weird in itself. I'll leave it with this. The special guest stars were Ursula Andress.
Okay.
And Terry Kaiser, who you may know as Bernie Lomax in Weekend at Bernie's.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
now, Weekend at Bernie's, you don't have to tell me who Bernie Lomax is. I'm very aware of Bernie Lomax.
Wasn't sure. I mean, like, you brought up a lot of shit together. I don't know that this is our first foray into the dead, the first version of The Walking Dead.
He was fantastic in that film. So he wasn't even walking. He was a supported dead.
Supported dead. Well, this is very true. So yeah, and Glenn Turman. It was is in this. So you might remember him because he was in A Different World and like so much shit.
The name doesn't mean anything to me. I remember A Different World, but I'm not sure. So.
You know him to see him. And just it's just some of these the actors aren't even bad. It's just everything around it. But anyway, that'll be coming soon. And with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everyone.
Take care, guys.